Imagine throwing a grenade at your enemy, but instead of exploding inside their bunker, it suddenly rolls back to your feet. It sounds impossible. In some of the most brutal wars in history, soldiers invented incredibly clever and sometimes terrifying ways to use grenades. From fishhooks in Stalingrad to hidden traps and fake ventilation shafts, these are some of the most unbelievable grenade tactics ever used in war. During the Battle of Stalingrad in World War II, soldiers fought for every inch of the city. Battles happened street by street, house by house, and even room by room. In these tight spaces, grenades were one of the most effective weapons for clearing enemy positions. But German defenders came up with a clever defense. They stretched wire screens across windows so that incoming grenades would bounce off and fall harmlessly outside. The Soviet soldiers quickly improvised a solution. They attached fish hooks to their grenades. When the grenade was thrown toward a window, the hooks would catch on the wire screen, instead of bouncing away. Seconds later, the grenade would explode inside the window opening. It was a simple but brilliant battlefield adaptation that showed how quickly soldiers could adjust to new challenges. Bunkers created another interesting problem. Many underground bunkers required ventilation shafts to bring fresh air to the soldiers inside. For attacking troops, this looked like the perfect weakness. Drop a grenade down the shaft and it would explode directly inside the bunker. But German engineers along the Atlantic Wall designed a clever defense. Some ventilation shafts were built with curved pipes inside them. If a grenade was dropped down the pipe, it would roll through the curved tubing and come out of another opening near the attacker's feet. In other words, the enemy's own grenade could be sent right back toward them. Grenades were also widely used in booby traps. Instead of throwing them, soldiers would set them up so they could explode automatically when an enemy approached. One common tactic involved stretching a thin wire across a path, doorway, or hallway. When someone walked into the wire, the trap would trigger and the grenade would explode. Other traps were even more deceptive. Grenades were sometimes hidden under objects that soldiers might pick up, such as abandoned weapons, helmets, or equipment. These traps turned the battlefield into a place where even the smallest object could be dangerous. During the Soviet-Afghan War, Soviet troops reportedly used an unusual trick sometimes called the Afghan tulip. A grenade was placed inside a fragile glass container before being thrown. When the grenade hit the ground, the glass would shatter, allowing the grenade's mechanism to activate. This meant the grenade would only begin its countdown after landing, making its timing more effective in certain situations. There are also strange stories from World War I trench warfare. In one story, enemy soldiers positioned close enough to talk across the trenches began tossing cans of corned beef to German soldiers as a gesture of friendliness. The Germans accepted the food and even asked for more, but eventually, instead of food, grenades began landing in the trench. Stories like this contributed to the fearsome reputation that some units gained during the war. Grenades themselves are much older than most people think. Early versions appeared as far back as the 8th century. Soldiers of the Byzantine Empire used clay jars filled with a burning substance known as Greek fire. Later, Chinese inventors developed grenades using gunpowder and simple fuses. By the 17th century, specialized soldiers, known as grenadiers, were trained to throw explosive iron spheres filled with gunpowder. Modern grenade design can be traced back to the Mills bomb, which was widely used by British forces during World War I today. There are many different types of grenades designed for different purposes. Fragmentation grenades are used against enemy soldiers. Smoke grenades provide concealment. Incendiary grenades start fires. And stun grenades create a bright flash and loud noise to disorient enemies. Throughout history, soldiers have constantly adapted their tactics to the challenges of the battlefield. Sometimes those ideas were clever, sometimes they were dangerous, but they all show one thing. In war, people will always find new ways to improvise and survive. If you enjoyed learning about these unusual wartime tactics, make sure to subscribe for more fascinating and lesser-known stories from military history. And let me know in the comments, what is the most surprising war tactic you have ever heard about?